Hi everyone, this is Penny from penny-astrology.com, and today I have a pick a card reading for you. So this is the last Wednesday of October, and here in 2020, as I'm doing this video, we have both Mercury retrograde and Mars retrograde. Not only that, but the second full moon of the month is coming, and it's going to be a wild one. So I will be posting horoscopes about that on Facebook. You can check the link if you're not following me there yet. And I just felt like this was a really important question to ask. What is blocking me right now? So we're going to get some information about what's blocking us. What is the spiritual reading for what is the spiritual reason for this blockage, and what can you actually do about it? So I think for most of us with the current transits, as I'm recording this video right now, it's not anybody's fault that there's some blockage right now. I think it's all this retrograde energy. But you may be watching this in the future as well. And if you're not watching this in October of 2020, that's okay too. That you're going to watch this whenever you need this reading and whenever you need this message. So that being said, we're going to get going. I have 6 different piles of cards here. They go in this order: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So choose whichever card your intuition is pulling you towards the most. Please don't just choose your lucky number or anything like that. Just go with whichever card is pulling you. So with that being said, we're going to get started with pile number 1. Okay. So the first thing we have here is the Star. So this is a card of wishes, of dreams come true, of the best possible scenario becoming reality. And you're probably being like, what the heck, Penny? That is so not my situation right now. But this is why it came up as your obstacle. It's because you're in a position where you don't really know what you want. And you might be looking to the stars, you might be looking to astrology, or some other type of guidance to give you the answer, to help you figure out your way, which these are great tools. They're very helpful. And right now, even if you know astrology, you're at a point where you have to figure out, how do I want to actually use the blessings that I have in life? How am I going to make the most of my life? How am I going to be my best self? What is going to make me feel the most happy and the most fulfilled? So this is an issue of what it is that you actually want, and you may have even recently come to realize that what you thought you wanted is not what you truly wanted. The next card we have here is the Page of Swords. So this one came up as the spiritual reason for your blockage. So this Page of Swords is kind of standing on top of a mountain. He has a bird on his finger, and he's looking out for opportunities. He's looking out for the most wise decisions. So this is definitely a big time of learning and not actively facing challenges right now, but more so looking back over those challenges, looking to see how you have gotten up as far as you have in life at this point. How have you overcome the past challenges, and what can you actually learn from your triumphs, from your victories in life? And how does that feed in to your soul's purpose? How does that feed into the bigger picture for you? And how does that contribute to what it is you really want? Has your past given you signs and given you clues as to what your destiny is and what it is you're really meant to be doing right now? It probably has. And now is the time for you to look back and kind of explore those little messages that you've gotten all throughout your path. And the final card, this is your advice card, is the Two of Cups. So this Two of Cups is very, very different from the Two of Cups in other decks. And what I'm getting from this is more a message of strength and support. So you need all of the support and all of the strength that you can possibly get right now. You need potentially a comrade who you can hold hands with throughout these challenges, who you can rely on for strength, who can help keep you in tune with who you actually are. If you don't have a physical person who is able to do this, it might be even better to use your higher self, to use a spirit guide, and to use your intuition and your inner sense of knowing, and, you know, look in the mirror and give yourself that sense of strength. You know, that's an even more powerful message that I'm getting from this. Because I know some of us have partners, some of us have very close friends, and that is a beautiful thing. Trust me, I appreciate my friends and my partner so much, but we don't want to become too codependent either. You know, we want to be able to rely on ourselves. We want to be able to find our own strength and our own answers. So that is kind of your biggest message here. You know, look to yourself, lean on yourself, and give yourself that affirmation and that encouragement that you actually need. So there's, I think her name's Lisa Nichols. It's like a 5x7 or 3x7 mirror technique, something like that. So it's basically, the concept is you look in the mirror, you tell yourself 7 things you forgive yourself for. You tell yourself 7 things you are proud of yourself for, and 7 things you promise to yourself, 7 things that you commit that you will do for yourself. So techniques like that, specifically where you look in the mirror, are going to be really helpful. You know, give yourself those positive affirmations, give yourself the strength and the encouragement that you need. Pile number 2. Okay. All right, so this one's definitely more dramatic than what I wanted to see, because this is actually the one that I chose for myself. So this is showing that in the past, money has been a huge obstacle. You know, there's been some things that have happened in your life, some life events that have really uprooted you, that have really created suffering and struggle surrounding not having the physical resources that you needed. And, you know, not only is this a hard thing to overcome, but it is it can be psychologically damaging as well. It can be traumatic, and it can create a sense of fear. And even worse, it can create a negative relationship with money. So as I've come to, you know, realize more and more throughout my adult life, is that the world is not very forgiving for people who have a history of poverty, for people who have dealt with this kind of things. And it's kind of one of those things that the further you get yourself into that hole of poverty, of financial suffering, and the more debt you accumulate and the harder it is to be able to get out. And it'll show on your credit record and all of that kind of thing. So that's something I personally have been trying to overcome. But let's go ahead and see what the spiritual reason is for our struggles. Okay. So the spiritual reason is the 5 of Swords. So what I'm getting from the specific 5 of Swords is it's kind of about seeing the world in black and white. So we've had a problem where we've been seeing things in black and white, you know, where there's kind of always a victim and there's always a villain. And some of us might have that self-blame, like, oh, I'm bad. This happens because I'm bad. And this sort of unintentionally sadistic mentality that we have been taught, wrongfully taught, has created a lot of suffering, and it's created a lot of negative energy, and it has gotten in the way of us being able to manifest better things. It has kept us in kind of this negative cycle that we have been stuck in. So that is the spiritual reason for your suffering. It has a lot to do with your mentality about things and mindsets that you have been taught that have not worked in your favor. So we need to kind of reset that and get it to a better place. All right, what you can do, the advice card here, is the Knight of Cups. So the first message I'm getting from this card is weather the storm. you know, be strong, be stable. You're on that horseback. A horse is actually a symbol not only of stability, but of financial triumph and prosperity and wellness. It's a very positive sign when it comes to money. So this is saying you have the resources, you have the strength, you have the power to get your horse moving and to move yourself to better land so that you can see better days. But right now you're in a position where you kind of have to weather the storm. And this is going to be about using all the resources you have. This is going to be about using the elements around you, using the power of the wind, using the power of the earth. If you're pagan like I am, that'll be a big powerful message to you. But if you're not pagan, then you might need to kind of translate this to your own religion, you know, the strength of your religion. But this is about, it's really about using resources. It's about using opportunities that you have around you. And I do feel like this is a reassuring card. It's like you have everything that you need to make things better. And, you know, based on the level of suffering that's happened in the past, you probably really want to make things better. You have the proper motivation, you have the proper reason and the proper incentive to make things better. So now it's time to actually do it. You've got everything that you need and you can make it happen. So go ahead and find that inner peace that you need and make it happen. And this is going to have to do with giving yourself positive, you know, when I say the wind, that's about like positive affirmations and stuff like that. That can be helpful. Communication goes along with the theme of the wind, and also connections, networking, relationships. Use the connections you can and use the resources that you can. Now we are on to pile number 3. Okay, this is interesting. So this is your blockage right now, and this is usually seen as a very positive card. It is a card of family, of love, and of happiness. So the first thing that comes to mind is the issue might be a sense of possibly being complacent, but that's not really it. It's more like you already have everything that you need. You're already truly happy. And I'm not sure what the blockage here actually is. This might be people who watched the reading just for fun. Not necessarily having an issue right now. And the spiritual reason for your blockage is basically that you feel like you have already triumphed and overcome things. I really think you're just watching this for fun. And the advice and what you can do is the 7 of coins. So this is basically just like keep manifesting positive things, keep watering your grass, keep taking care of your resources and your money and what you have been pulling your effort into so that you can continue to thrive, so that you can continue to succeed. I'm going to look at this card one more time and see if I can get like any really negative energy from it. It's just such an overwhelmingly, this one is actually what I'm talking about. Sorry for being unclear about that. The 10 of Cups is such an overwhelmingly positive card. So one thing that might truly be a problem right now is I'm seeing kind of the audience here and, you know, having other people watch you and having to feel like things need to be perfect by other people's standards. So that's where it's saying that your pride can come in. It can kind of be an issue, and it can put some unnecessary like feelings of I should be a certain way on you. But here's the thing, you've already found success in the way that makes you happy. So you need to recognize that, and I think you need to kind of keep going to the beat of your own drum and keep taking care of things in the same way you've already been taking care of them. Even if other people around you don't necessarily approve of it, you know, maybe you have some family members or some in-laws who have been critical of you, and this is kind of saying don't really worry about them. You know, you already have found your own way to happiness, and you basically just need to keep doing what you've been doing. All right, pile number 4, if I can count correctly. Okay. Okay, so what is blocking you right now is that feeling of dread and doom. Oh my gosh. And honestly, how can anyone not feel this in 2020? This has been such a pessimistic year. This has been such an awful, discouraging, heartbreaking year in so many ways. And you are someone who has really been emotionally and spiritually impacted by the pain and the suffering and the sense of doom from this year. So your spiritual reason for this blockage, it's not just about you, and it's not just about your own circumstances, because yours likely have not been as bad as some of the other people around you or in your community or in your world. And your sense of community is part of what has made you so worried. That's kind of contributing to this anxiety right now. It's because you want everyone to be doing well. You don't want it to like just be you. And there might even be like a certain amount of guilt. There might be this feeling that you've made a spiritual contract that you're not going to do substantially better than anyone else. And you're going to, you know, have like a sense of camaraderie with other people of your class, other people who are around you. And you might even feel like you need or deserve. Oh goodness, this word deserve coming up again. Card number 2 had a similar message. But this notion that you don't deserve any better than anyone else does. And if other people and other bad things are happening in the world, then you deserve the bad things too. No, you don't. Stop it. So stop worrying so much. Stop feeling the sense of dread. I think you need to kind of change your agreements with how you're going to interact with the world right now. And it might particularly be good to, so the advice card here is the Fool. So that's about starting over. That's about redoing how you do things. And the message that I'm getting is you're going to need to put yourself in a different headspace. Give yourself a different role in the world. And that might mean giving yourself a promotion. That might mean not necessarily being everyone else's financial equal right now, which you don't have to be. That's okay. If you're of higher income and higher position of power, higher rank than other people around you, that also gives you the opportunity to be able to help them, to be able to give them a leg up. So I'm seeing that you need to give yourself a promotion and kind of redo some of these previous spiritual contracts that you've been making so that you can start again, so that you can not just explore new opportunities, but you can create new opportunities in the world. You can create the beautiful world that you've been dreaming of, because you have this habit of getting stuck in your head. And the positive end of that is that you can be imaginative, you can be creative, you can see and create better opportunities in the world. But the negative side of that is that sometimes you just sit there and worry about the 5,000 different ways that everything could possibly go wrong. So use your imagination in a more positive way and see the opportunities, create the opportunities, make it happen, and be willing to change not just your own life, but the world around you. Be willing to transform the world around you into what you actually want it to be, and don't let yourself feel helpless. This feeling that other people are creating the reality that we live and they're doing a poor job, it might be true, but you also have the opportunity to change it. This Fool card, I know it's ironically called the Fool, but that's not actually, it doesn't mean that you're a fool. Maybe other people might think you are at times, but that doesn't mean it's true. This is actually a very powerful card. This is a card of change. It's a card of new beginnings. It's positive. And look, you have a beautiful, beautiful mermaid represented in this one. This is about like a whole new world coming about for you. All right, pile number 5. This is an interesting set of cards. Okay, so your obstacle, I do feel that some of you watching this right now are specifically writers, and your obstacle is writer's block. Now, if you're not a writer, it might be like a more metaphorical sense of writer's block, like you just don't know how to get things going. You don't know what the first step needs to be. You don't really know how to get started at this point. So you're in a position where you're saying, what do I do now? You know, perhaps you've taken off on a new adventure, you've decided to try something new, but you don't know what the next step is, and maybe more so you don't even really know what the first step is going to be like. All right, so the spiritual reason for this is the Knight of Wands, and this has to do with a sense of adventure. It's about being able to create what you want in the world. So to me, this is saying that you're really in a position where you are coming into your power. You know, you can see in this card, she's literally grabbing this, I believe this is a ram. She's grabbing the ram by the horns. I know the term's usually grabbing the bull by the horns, but you're grabbing life by the horns and you're getting ready to manifest what is purposeful for you. Manifest something that has strong meaning and resonates with your true identity and who you really are. So you're getting ready to do something big. And this is, that's part of your problem though, because you're kind of looking to other people for information. Right now you're like, okay, what do I do? Like, what is the first thing that I do? But guess what? It's you who decides what you do. That's for you to decide. You tell us, what is the first step actually going to be? All right, and then the advice cards that we have here is the Seven of Wands. So this is basically just saying, get to work. You know, it's not about making the perfect first move. You know, Spirit is not going to judge you right now. They're not going to sit there and say, oh, you did something wrong, or you didn't do it in like the perfect, most ideal way. This is basically just saying it's time to put the hammer to the nails and start building the life that you actually want. It's not so much about what you do, because I think you already know what you want. You already know what you want. So it's not a matter of finding the right way to do it, really, because you're, in this situation at least, you're the one who decides what the right way actually is. You're in a position of power right now. So this is saying, just get to work. Just start doing it. And I think this is encouraging you that there isn't really necessarily a wrong way to do it. You are inherently going to do it the right way. You know, even if it's not easy, even if there's some bumps along the ways, what you are going to do is going to be beautiful, and it's going to be perfect in its own right. So just do it. All right. Pile number 6. Okay, so the first card that we have here is the Ten of Wands. This is a very interesting Ten of Wands. So the Ten of Wands is usually about taking on a big burden. It's about an overwhelming level of responsibilities, you know, it's responsibilities and tasks and things we had to do that we did not necessarily want to have to do. So this is saying that you do not and did not come into this with ideal circumstances. This is not your perfect fairy tale happily ever after. This is a situation where you've kind of made the best out of what you were given. You know, you were given some lemons and you tried to make lemonade, and it ended up tasting a little bit off. Maybe the lemons were not ideal for lemonade, or maybe you didn't have all of the resources that you actually needed for your so-called lemonade stand. But you know, you've kind of been put in an unfair position, but you've still found a way to make the best out of it. So give yourself some credit, and if people around you are criticizing for you, excuse me, Mercury retrograde much. If people around you are criticizing you for your metaphorical lemonade stand and the way that you have made and found success despite the obstacles that you've faced, tell them to shut up. You know, maybe you need to find a more polite way to say it than I am right now, but you know, just even in your own head, just don't listen to them. Who cares? All right, so the spiritual reason for this is I'm getting reassurance that this really wasn't your fault. The difficult circumstances that you faced are not your fault, and other people might like to criticize you, other people might like to laugh at you about what has happened, but it's not your fault. It seems like other people in your life, their irresponsibility, their negligence, they're not wanting to have to participate, they're not wanting to have to contribute. It has created and perpetuated these problems for you. And then our advice card here is the Page of Cups. So I think this is saying that you really need to find your own sense of joy right now. You have people who are just adding burdens to your back, who are continuously making things harder for you. And for what reason? For what reason? So they can go enjoy things and not have to deal with the same things that you've had to deal with? No, I think it's your turn to enjoy things right now. So find joy. Just, wherever you see it, find it, seize it, find a way to be happier and, relieve some of that stress. Let it go. There's, even if by some chance you're struggling financially, which these cards don't necessarily indicate that, they've just indicated that you have a lot of stress. Sometimes that comes with financial burdens. Sometimes that comes with making tons and tons of money, but it's still stressful. So it can really go either way based on the combination of cards that I was given today. But, even if you can afford to go to a spa, get a massage, go on vacation, do whatever is going to make you just super freaking happy, the cards are encouraging you to do it, to figure it out. Maybe taking a few moments to yourself at the end of every day is what you need. Maybe you do need to create some kind of spa experience at home, or just do something fun, do something that makes you happy. And that's really all it's saying. It's very simple advice. Just find some happiness and let that happiness help you recover. Because you deserve to. You've worked very hard. All right, so that was our pick a card readings for today. I hope you enjoyed them. I hope you got some positive messages out of it. If you did, leave me a comment below. I love hearing feedback. I love hearing people's stories about, how this has manifested for them. I really love connecting with my clients. So yeah, and if you're interested in getting a reading, I have a link in the description below, and I have a link to my Instagram, and all those kinds of things so that we can stay connected and stay in touch. Anyway, take care and enjoy the rest of your week. Bye.